I tend not to review a lot of inexpensive over-ear headphones because they usually don't sound all that good, but the Tribit X-Free Tune is one of the exceptions. It sells for $44 online and actually sounds very good, is comfortable to wear, and seems well built. It also doesn't look cheap. For those who haven't heard of Tribit, it's one of those no-name audio companies that sell various products on Amazon, but Tribit does make a very good mini Bluetooth speaker for $35, so I thought I'd give these headphones a try, and I was surprised by how good they are. They have good clarity, sound pretty natural, and have relatively well-defined bass. There's a touch of treble push, but it isn't bad. They sound as good as many Bluetooth headphones that cost 3 or even 4 times as much. They also fold up into a decent enough carrying case and come with a cable if you want to use them in wired mode. There are volume controls on the ear cup along with a power button. There doesn't seem to be any way to control playback, but it turns out that if you press and hold the up volume button, you can advance tracks forward and hold down the volume button to skip tracks back. Battery life is rated at a healthy 24 hours at moderate volume levels. There's no noise canceling, but overall the headphones work reliably and paired and repaired with my phone without a problem. So all in all, the Tribit X-Free Tune is an excellent bargain. In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better sounding full-size wireless headphone for the money. This is Anker's Soundbud Slim, an in-ear Bluetooth sports headphone that can be had for less than $30 online and is a very popular product on Amazon. Anker has made a name for itself by selling a host of budget mobile phone accessories that are relatively inexpensive but manage to avoid looking cheap. The same can be said for these earphones, which might have been made in the same Chinese factory that makes similar looking wireless earphones for other online-only brands like Taotronics. Soundbud Slim have a simple elegance to them and seem to be sturdily built with metal housings and a fairly thick cord. They're also sweat resistant and come with a basic carrying pouch for storage. Battery life is rated at 7 hours at moderate volume levels, which is fairly decent. The most important thing for me was that they fit well. They come with 4 different size silicone ear tips and 3 different size sports hooks to help lock the bud in place. The larger tips and hooks allow me to get a secure, tight seal, which is crucial to maximizing sound quality. The cord may be a little short for some people, but it was fine for me, and the buds are magnetic, so you can wear the earphones around your neck like a pendant when you're not listening to them. The USB charging port is in the inline remote, which is where the microphone for making calls also lives. For their low price, these earphones deliver good sound, and I think most people will be satisfied, but I wouldn't say they sound great, and they're only okay for making calls. The bass is a little loose. By that I mean it's a little boomy, and the treble has a touch of a harsh edge to it. The way I dealt with those issues was to lower the volume, but if you like to play your music loud, this may not be the headphone for you. However, for those of you looking for a decent set of cheap wireless headphones for both gym and everyday use, the Soundbud Slim are a good choice and my current favorite Anker Bluetooth headphones. A $50 Bluetooth headphone that's lightweight, relatively comfortable to wear, and sounds good particularly for its modest price point. Until recently, it was hard to find a Bluetooth headphone that sounded decent for less than $100, but that's changing as higher grade chips and components get cheaper. The Sound Blaster is by no means high-end and in fact looks a little like the headphones that came with the Walkman back in the 80s, but there's something endearing about its throwback design, and as I said, it's lightweight and should fit most people pretty well, though not everybody likes an on-ear design, and there is no padding on the top of the headband, which may bother some people. They also don't fold up in any way, and while they seem sturdy enough, I can't tell you how well they'll hold up over time. As far as features go, there's a pause-play button that doubles as an answer-end button for cell phone calls. The requisite volume controls are on board, and when you hold those buttons down, they turn into transport controls, allowing you to advance tracks forward and back. You also get a bass boost button that does just that, boosts the bass a little while sacrificing a little clarity. Last but not least, there's NFC tap-to-pair technology for devices like Samsung's Galaxy phones that support it. I did encounter some Bluetooth hiccups, and I also didn't think this headphone works great as a headset for calls. Callers said they heard a lot of background noise when I talked, and my voice sounded a little recessed. But on the plus side, the headphone's battery life is good at 12 hours, and the headphone sounds quite good with relatively clean dynamic sound for Bluetooth. Bass was also strong, even without engaging the bass boost button, which I didn't think added much. In all, this is a strong budget Bluetooth headphone, but it isn't without a few weaknesses. I suppose you can't expect perfection for 50 bucks, but you could always dream. JVC Flats. These are a rather cheap pair of headphones, and I'm always on a quest to find good, cheap headphones. These come in right around $12 to $13, and what's impressive about them is that they're comfortable, they're lightweight, and they also sound very decent for $13 headphones. Why do they sound decent? Well, they're well balanced. They don't push the bass too much. They don't push the treble, but they offer a decent amount of detail and a decent amount of bass, and they sound really pretty decent. Of course, you can't expect the world from $13 headphones, and these aren't going to measure up to, say, $100 headphones, but they do measure up pretty well against $30 to $50 headphones. You will get a little bit of distortion in some of your tracks if you crank the volume, and they're not incredibly clear, but again, $13. In terms of their build quality, they held up pretty well in the few days that I used them. They are lightweight and they fold flat. They do not fold up. These are an on-ear model and they do come in multiple colors. They won't fit everybody's ears equally well, but they will fit most ears, and the key thing is they are lightweight. So if you're looking for a headphone you don't care that much about losing, but you want them to be decent, these certainly fit the bill, and I have no problem recommending them, particularly at their price point. iFrogz has carved out its niche in the headphone market by making relatively inexpensive headphones that perform as well or better than other cheap headphones. At $45, the Impulse Duo Wireless is toward the high end of its in-ear Bluetooth headphone line and features dual drivers and a lightweight design that's comfortable to wear. Like iFrogz's earlier wireless in-ears, it's built around the company's signature wireless hub, which features a magnetic clasp and houses the battery, microphone, all the electronics, as well as all the controls. The clip serves a dual purpose. Not only does it allow you to attach the remote to your shirt, but it keeps the cord wrapped around the remote when you're not using the headphones. This model hasn't been designated as a sports headphone, but it is sweat resistant and can be used at the gym. It comes with a few different sized tips, and the buds stayed securely in my ears with the larger tips, and I managed to get a tight seal that maximized sound quality. Battery life is rated at 10 hours at moderate volume levels, which is fairly decent. Thanks to the dual 6mm drivers, this headphone sounds better than both the Summit and the single driver Impulse. What holds it back a bit is that you can tell it's a Bluetooth headphone. By that I mean it sounds a touch dull. Also, it only performs okay as a headset. I could hear callers well, but a few people I spoke to while I was at the gym complained of hearing too much background noise. Those small gripes aside, the Impulse Duo is a likable in-ear Bluetooth headphone that packs up well and is easy to carry around in your pocket. iFrogz has a new line of inexpensive Bluetooth headphones out for the 2016 holiday season, and this is probably my favorite of the bunch, the Summit Wireless, a sports model that retails for $35. I can't tell you that it sounds great, but it does sound decent enough for the money, and just as importantly, fits comfortably and securely and comes with a few different silicone tips and wings that help lock the buds in place. I'm also a fan of the headphone's signature design feature. On the inline remote, which houses the battery, microphone, and all the electronics, there's a magnetic clasp that allows you to clip the headphone to your shirt. You can also wrap the cord around the remote and keep everything in place with the clasp. Battery life is rated at 10 hours at moderate volume levels, and the headphone is sweat resistant, though it's far from waterproof, with only IPX2 certification. As you might expect from an inexpensive wireless headphone, you're not looking at premium build quality here, and I can't tell you how well this will hold up over several months of use. But for $35, you are getting a lightweight, comfortable wireless headphone that sounds decent enough and can be used for running or just walking around, and that's not a bad deal. This is Skullcandy's inked wireless Bluetooth headphone, which costs about $40 online. I can't say I was wowed by its design when I first took it out of the box. Frankly, it looks a little cheap, but I gotta admit, once I tried it out, it exceeded my expectations. It's very lightweight. If you have a shirt on, you'll barely feel it around your neck. It's comfortable to wear. The band's got some flexibility to it, which is good, and while the cords that run from the neckband to the earbuds seem a little thin, some of LG's Tone headphones have very thin cords, and I haven't had a problem with them breaking or fraying over time. You find the integrated remote on the left side of the collar. I like that the controls were large and easy to operate by feel. There's a pause play button that also doubles as a call answer end button, and volume controls that double as track control buttons. The buds themselves are all plastic. They're very lightweight, and the headphone ships with 2 sizes of silicone ear tips. I was able to get a tight seal and surprisingly secure fit with a larger default set. As for the sound, I was pleasantly surprised. It's pretty well balanced, and by that I mean you don't get the treble and bass push you get from a lot of headphones these days. And while there isn't a ton of bass, it offers decent clarity in the treble and mid-range and measures up well against neckband-style Bluetooth headphones that I've tested that cost almost twice as much. Battery life is rated at 7 hours at 75% volume, and it also works fine as a headset for making calls. In the end, as I said, the Inked Wireless exceeded my expectations. It's a pretty no-frills neckband style headphone, but it is lightweight and comfortable to wear, and the sound is decent. I'd like to see it cost even less, but it's a reasonable deal at its current price point.